Hey everybody, this is Deb and welcome to our team call today. And we have Jen Arias, co-host. She's the founder of Team Determination Nation. And then we have Jamie Thompson, who is our special guest speaker, and I'm really excited. And I said this on your team call, Jamie, that, wait a minute, hold on.
I know.
We're installing a new microwave. I said that you are like my girl crush. I guess you'd be my WCW, my Women Crush Wednesday. Jamie and I haven't spent a lot of time together, but you are definitely somebody that I could see myself being very good friends with. You're just, I love your sign, 15-star coach, 15-star mom. You're just a real amazing person. An ordinary person doing extraordinary things. And that's, I just really relate to that.
Well, thank you.
Yep. So, next time I see you, it's going to be a little awkward. You're like, okay, she has a crush on me. What am I going to do with that? Okay. So Jamie hit 15-star last December. And how long have you been a coach?
Since 2010. So 6 years next month.
Wow. So you might tell us a little bit about your journey. But she's a 15-star diamond, 2-star in her second business center, and Success Club 10 legend, and a mom, and just a really amazingly nice person. And she's going to talk to us about having a diamond mindset. So I'll turn it over to you. I'm going to be quiet.
Well, thank you for that. It was super nice. But I'm not going to stand next to you because you're like way too hot.
The hotness itself.
I like see her in her page. I'm like, man, gosh. Yeah.
It was so funny. Amazing. It was funny because yesterday I was out with my mom and literally no makeup, ponytail. I had on the worst pair of sweats and it was just so awful. I thought, after a week of all those glamour cruise shots, totally, like really, this is what I look like. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, you look good even when you don't think that you do. So you're very blessed.
Thank you.
And thank you for all that. It was very nice. So I can't wait to run into you as well. And thanks for having me on. I'm excited to share with you guys. I have been a coach since 2010. Like I said, 6 years next month, which is crazy. But my story and how I got into Beachbody actually started all the way back in 2003 because I had my daughter and I did Slim and Six. And I didn't run into anything else with Beachbody until after I had my son, and I gained 70 pounds with her. I gained 65 with him. And I remember sitting up late at night feeding him, and there is Turbo Jam on the infomercial in the middle of the night, and of course I had to have it. But my struggle's always been nutrition, always lots of issues with binge eating, emotional eating, just you name it, issues with food, that's me. So I never really had that part. I could work out all day long. I have no issues there. So it wasn't until 3 years later that I found a box sitting on the table, and my husband had ordered P90X. I hadn't opened it yet. Well, I did. I was always an athlete, so I'm like, I've seen the infomercial for this. I'm going to try it. So I opened it. I started it. I loved it. And at the same time, I was in a Turbo Jam page on Facebook, and I met my coach, Carolyn Wilhelm, which she's under Janelle Summers. So of course she's like, well, Janelle's my coach. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. I felt like I knew her, I've been, working out with her in my living room, for how many years at that point in time. So, I was like excited to learn about the whole coaching thing. Did I see it as a business? Absolutely not. I was new to Facebook. I thought Facebook was dumb. I was like, why? I can just call and talk to these people. Why am I on here talking to them? That's weird. So for me, it was a very slow go once I started. I did not really have any training. Even being in Janelle Summers' downline, she'll say, she didn't know what she was doing either. I remember getting on, she would have a weekly call, and there were 6 people on it, and I would just listen in, and they were doing a check-in type thing. There was no training. And I was just kind of posting my website, here, come try this. You know, I was so that girl, I did. And I was also a third grade teacher. So, I mean, I just was kind of more of a hobby, I guess, coach. I was just kind of sharing. I was getting results. I loved Shakeology. I finally probably had gotten to the fittest, healthiest I'd ever been in my entire life. And I somehow managed to earn the trip to the Bahamas. I didn't even know what Success Club was. Didn't even know. I didn't even know how I earned it. But we went, and thank goodness I did, because that's where I met my very good friend, Corey Miller now. And she is the person who opened my eyes to what this business really could do for me and my family. So I kind of got my fire lit from that trip for sure. We went to our first summit, and of course my fire was lit even more. And then we find out we're pregnant with baby number 3. So I was kind of having those, oh my gosh, I'm starting all over again, because my body just puts on the weight and I like food. So I just kind of took that as my shift. It was kind of my point in my business where I went, okay, this is kind of my opportunity now to show on social media that I can have a healthy pregnancy. I can work out and I can eat healthy, and I won't do like I did with the other 2 and make it so hard on myself afterwards to lose that baby weight. And that's when I did. And it was the healthiest pregnancy out of my 3 for sure. I still gained 60 pounds, but when you like look at my pictures and compare my 3, it's like shocking how much different I carried that baby weight and everything. So, you know, afterwards, I'm insane, and like it's all popping up in my, you know, how Facebook pops up the memories. Yeah. So right now in my memories, it's popping up me taking my 2 kids and my newborn to Disney for the Success Club trip. Yeah, I did. He was a week old, and we went because I said in the Bahamas when they announced it that was the next trip. I'm like, I'm taking our kids. We're going, because, you know, my husband and I were both teachers. And the last time we took our kids, we put everything on credit cards. We're stressed, all the bills coming in, you know, and I'm like, I am going to take our family and do it. So that was just kind of one of those things I always have done in this business. I just have always made, you know, a big part of it being for my family, doing things for my family, and obviously bringing on lots of other mamas. And that's what I just try to show them, that this can change things, not just for yourself, but for your family, and provide so many opportunities. So after I had him, I went back and taught, which I was hating. I did not want to have to go back to teaching that year of his first year of his life, but it was like that big drive for me. I did not want to miss any more of him being little. I wanted to be that mom that was going to be able to be home with him. So I didn't have that opportunity with my other 2. So that next summit, he was like 3 months old, I think. And it was the postcards, and you had to write, it was like Dream Big was that year. And I wrote on there, I will become a full-time Beachbody coach. So I went back, I taught that last year, and then I've been able to be home now. It's my second full year getting to be home. He just turned 3. But, you know, a big part of, you know, me doing things was just continuing to set big goals for myself. And obviously, you know, 2015 was a huge year for me and my team, but it didn't all just happen last year. It was things that started, you know, building up to make last year a huge year. So a big part of that is what I was going to share with you guys today. Just kind of the big things that I feel have to take place with any coach at any rank, wherever you are in this business. You know, a brand new coach, you know, somebody that's just, you know, trying so hard to hit emerald, you know, a coach that's looking to become a diamond coach, you know, whatever it is, everybody has the same mindset going on. You're doing the same things to make those things happen. You just have to do it on a consistent basis. So for me, I have like kind of 5 top tips, and I'll kind of throw in some of the little things that I did in a little group that I helped, you know, push my coaches to diamond that year as well. So 2014, I was still teaching, and we hit elite for the first time that year, and I hit 5-star. So at the very beginning of the year, you know, I went back, and the first thing we always do, you have to set goals. So what I did for my team at the beginning of the year, everybody made that vision board. And, you know, I say, don't put those safe goals. Those safe goals don't push us. You've got to like go big. And then, you know, if we don't hit them, you're still pushing. You're still going to move your business forward. Even if you don't hit those big, scary goals, you're still going to be pushing forward. And I'll talk about, you know, some of those roadblocks I ran into as well, because we all have to remember, we all have doubts. We all have fears. We all second guess everything we're doing in this business. I don't care what rank, how long you've been coaching. I'm in a 15-star diamond group, and they all talk about having fears and doubts. They all do. So you guys just have to remember, everybody goes through that. Nobody knows everything. Nobody has the perfect solution. Everybody is just, you know, doing the consistent things you got to do every day just to move forward. So, you know, after Summit, last year I was 11-star, and I had a coach come up to me that I was eating with, and she's like, I am going to push for 15. Are you pushing for 15? And I looked at her like she was absolutely insane, because I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Because I didn't have it in myself at that point in time to really think I could be a 15-star diamond coach. I didn't see myself as that type of leader. I just didn't have that belief in myself yet. So I just kind of brushed her off. But I got back home from Summit, and, you know, I was going back over all my things, and there, of course, is my vision board. And what do I have on my vision board? 15-star diamond. So it was kind of like my sign. Like, why not? Why wouldn't you? You have somebody that is going to be your accountability. If you want it, why not? Even if I don't hit it by the end of the year, I'm still going to move my business forward. I'm still going to help my coaches build their business. I'm still going to help them learn to be leaders. So I called her and I said, if you're still looking for someone, I'm in. And I think I was literally sick when I said it. It come out of my mouth. But that was Meg Kowalski. And so I was in. And from then, you know, we talked every week. But my big thing was I had to see it. So I'm a very visual person. And, you know, being a teacher, I'm like always saying, draw it out for me, you know, let's look at it. So I tell my coaches that you have to see it. You know, just saying I want to be 15-star, that's great. But I had to physically see, what do I need? Who do I still need? What do you need to happen? So that's the same way for a coach that's just trying to hit emerald. They need to see it. They need to understand what you need. Same thing with diamond. I have them draw it out. I have them, you know, totally, you know, make their map of how they're going to get there, their plan. Same thing for my coaches that are, you know, working for elite. They've got to map it out. They've got to see what they have to have happening to make that a reality for them. So very big on visualizing too. You've got to be able to see those big goals. So I just, from there with the goals, I wrote it down every morning. When I sat down to do my personal development, one of my first things I do, I pull out my journal and I rewrite my goals every morning. So when I was pushing, it was funny when I go back and flip through it now, like every morning I had on there, 15-star diamond, 15-star diamond. It was like in my head, like it was going to happen because I wrote it down every single day. And, you know, it wasn't just about me being a 15-star diamond. I think that was the big thing. I went to my coaches first. So that's number 2. When you have a big goal, whatever it might be, emerald, elite, whatever, you've got to share it. You have to let other people know what you are doing. So I went to my leaders on my team and I just put it out there. Hey, I am going for this goal. I want to make our team a 15-star diamond team. Who's with me? Who's ready to push and make this happen? And, you know, it was awesome to see them, you know, want that too. Now, that happened because of, you know, building that team bond that we all have worked together, you know, through the years, and they've watched me go from not doing, you know, anything to deciding to make things happen. And I just teach them from day one, don't do what I did, do the things, you need to do to move your business forward right off the bat. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't sit back and watch, do things. So they were in. So I just kind of made a private group just with my coaches that were really working to become diamond and make that happen. I mean, everybody had the date circled, like that last date that everybody could hit it. And we just, went for it. And I shared with them too, like really what was my big why for 15 Star. And for us, a big reason is I want to be able to retire my husband. And that's like my new goal. But I knew in order for me to be able to do that is we have to pay off debt. And 15 Star I could see as a big reason, for that being able to happen. So before I could write down my why and my goal of retiring my husband, 15 Star had to happen first. So they were on board. I go to them, make them share their why with their team, make them share their big goals and their dreams and everything with their teams as well. So it just became, a trickle effect. Everybody was doing the same things I was doing for them. They started doing it for their own team. So you started developing that leader within those coaches who were pushing for this big goal with you. So that was pretty cool to watch that, happen. I didn't even know too, they ended up creating a group without me. I said, that could have been good or bad. I don't know. They just wanted to be able to go somewhere if they felt stressed out, if there was like something happening and they didn't want me to know about it. But it was nice. They're like, they all had a bond too, and they like all did it together. So that was pretty funny. Okay, so number 3, and you guys hear this, I don't care where you are in the business, we all know personal development. And that was huge for me. I did 0 personal development that first 2.5 years of being a coach. No, I thought people who did that was strange. I mean, I was like, really? I don't need like self-help books. But that was truly when that whole change happened to me. I started realizing that I really lacked self-confidence. I did not have any belief in myself whatsoever. So plugging into the types of personal development that were going to help me, to gain that confidence, that was huge. So that's the first thing I talk with my new coaches about. I want to knock out whatever fear, hesitation, whatever they have as they come into coaching before we talk about Success Club, before we talk about becoming Emerald, all those other things that are important. But in order for them to do all that stuff and understand all that, they have to develop that belief system in themselves that they can do this too. So really sharing my story with them of me overcoming lots of obstacles, lots of negativity, lots of naysayers. And I had a lot of that through my journey as well. But just helping them find different books to really plug into. So in my group, with that group pushing for 15 with me, we plugged into the Miracle Morning. And I love the Miracle Morning for network marketers now too. That one's awesome. And then also we plugged into Impressions by Coit Cooper. He is actually the husband of one of my diamonds, and he's amazing. He actually came and spoke at one of our Super Saturdays in Indy, and he is awesome. He has a podcast. I'm like, Brandy, you have like a personal development man in your house. It's like crazy. She's like, I know, I should be doing so much better having him, in my house all the time. But he is really, really good. But he is so good about like teaching, getting in that routine and making goals and personal development like your number one thing you do, and just really helping, get into that system. Systems are huge. So we plugged into that for sure. And, they had to really build on their confidence as we, push for this. Okay. So number 4 is really working on getting over yourself. And remember, fear is a liar. even the date I set for us to hit 15, I didn't hit it. And so, I stopped and I'm like, it's okay, because I looked at that group of people that I had pushing and working, and they had grown so much over just that short period of time, because we developed a system and we, worked on that every day together and checked in every day together, and, made this a thing that wasn't just about me. It was about our team. And, anytime they ran into roadblocks, they felt okay with coming and sharing that. And so all of us having all these things going on and talking it through helped them understand that we're the only people in our own way, that in order for things to happen and change in our business, you just really got to get over yourself and stop thinking that, all these things that people probably think, who cares? I mean, I had to get to that point in my business that I'm in a super small town. Like, everybody knows everything everybody's doing. And, I just had to get to the point that I didn't care what anybody thought. I knew what I was doing was an awesome thing. And I just had to teach my coaches that you've got to believe in what you're doing 110%. And when you run into all that negativity and the doubts and the fears start coming in and you start second guessing yourself, that will stop bothering you. You really will get to a point where it stops bothering you, because you believe in what you're doing so much and you start having that belief in yourself. And that did not happen overnight for me either. So it's still, something that I sometimes have to stop and think, oh my gosh, did all that really happen? But it did. And, you just got to keep going. You're still going to run into, people with how they feel and all that. That's just part of it too. So, so number 5 is getting organized. So like I said at the beginning, I really had them get really focused in on a plan and visualizing. And like I said, that goes for any coach, wherever you're at in this business, it's the same thing. Emerald, how are you going to hit Success Club? How are you going to get to Diamond? And mapping it out, showing it. And I just really had them get really focused on those things at the very beginning. But, I always talk to them about, I really feel, and I think it was Jimmy Hayes Nelson I had heard talk on something, and I'm like, that just kind of stuck with me. But he said, this business really does start at Diamond. And I agree. I really do agree. It's like when you do become Diamond, then you kind of develop into a leader. You're a leader if you have challenge groups. You're a leader if you're an Emerald. But when you hit Diamond, it's just like you really have taken that big step, and something starts happening a little more in your business. So I had them do a whiteboard, or however they tracked it, but they always had a 10 and playlist. I'm sure you guys have probably heard that somewhere, but that was a really great way of helping them every week to really be focused in on 10 people they were talking to about the coaching opportunity, and 10 people they were talking to, about challenge groups. Now we've even kind of flipped that and really have made it, when you have someone that is interested in a challenge, we've kind of changed how we are transitioning them into becoming a coach as well. And we say, great, would you like to become a regular customer, or would you like to become a VIP member on our team? And that has really been working so much better with people. Of course, people are like, oh, okay, well, what does that mean? And, I just let them know, I let them in my team page. I let them know that they're going to be a part of all of my accountability groups. They're going to know kind of like when anything is going on sale first. I just kind of make them feel like it's a really cool thing to become a VIP member. And I do let them know, if you ever change your mind and you want to look into what we're doing as coaches, you can do that. And I mean, people just kind of tend to like that VIP member over discount coach. So we just have totally thrown out the terminology discount coach like completely now. As I know, a lot of coaches kind of have changed the terminology on that too, but just throwing in things like that to help them ease into helping to invite to the opportunity, that helped a lot as well. Just helping them to learn that they are a business owner and they have to be that CEO of their business. They have to be that person that's going to take control of their business. Nobody else is going to do it for them. People aren't just going to come and beg to be on their team. They have to be the people that are going and doing the inviting. Like I tell my new coaches, from the get-go that, it's going to take talking to people a few times, about 7 times before, most people will say yes. And I remind them, look how many times it took me talking to you, or how many years did it take before you decided to do this. Just reminding those new coaches of those things, that helps so much with helping them realize, oh yeah, I didn't decide to do this the first time. You've got to take your time with people. We do also, when I do my little groups when I'm pushing for Diamond, now, I do have them have their system of how they're doing their tracking. Now, I'm sure everybody's done the power of threes. We've actually moved into a new system, and it's called the Daily Fours. And Deborah, I can send you the video for this. I work with Erin Young as well. She kind of helped push with Meg and I for 15. And I had shared some scripts from a different call that I'd listened to, and then a call from Trina Gray. And I shared that with her, and she kind of took it and kind of used her teacher brain. She was a teacher too, and made this system. And I love it. And it's working awesome for our coaches. So I will share that with you, but it just really makes it easy, especially when you have coaches who work full time. The way it's set up is if they do this at least 4 times a week, they're going to move their business. But it breaks up kind of the 4 things that you should be doing. Basically what you're doing in the Power 3, it just kind of made it a little more simple. So they do the inviting, they do the connecting, they do the follow-up, and then they do mentoring. So mentoring, I think, was a huge piece that was missing. And as you're developing your diamonds, we need to remember, even if they're a brand new coach and they have challengers, they have people to mentor. They need to really get in the habit of reaching out all the time and letting those people know they're always there to help them anytime they need it. They know they have that person to turn to. And then as they start adding in, coaches on their team, even if it is a VIP member, they need to do the same thing. So that became the 4th piece on the Daily Fours that was added in, but that could be a whole nother call. So I will share that video with you so that you can share that with your team too. So that was kind of the things that I did. Nothing out of the norm. We were just consistent and just didn't quit. I think you're still muted.
That's really great. I love the way, just how organized you are. We've made some attempts, I'll say attempts, because I know it's kind of, probably it stems from me, but we've talked about becoming a 15-star diamond team. And, I would be interested to know how many of the people that raised their hand and said they wanted to be a part of that. How many people did you have?
I was 11 when we started. So I kept all of the coaches who were currently diamond. They went in this group, too, as well. So I probably had like 8 or 9, and of course, I had a few that they were in my second. So I hit 15, and then I hit 2-star at the same time.
So the people that were in the push group, for lack of a better word, I know we don't like that word, but where were they starting? Were they starting at almost diamond, or some of them starting at brand new emerald?
I had some that I had one, I mean, she was like a new coach, like a brand new coach, but she just had that drive in her. And anytime when I talk to my coaches and they are those type that say, I want this to work, then I'm immediately like, let's do this. Like I have two right now. They just signed in February and they're pushing to hit diamond this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I just am, if they tell me they've got it, I just say, okay, if you want to run, I'll run with you.
Yeah.
So
were there not any requirements for the group, just the willingness?
Yeah, I mean, they were all emerald.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't make any requirements. They were probably just the coaches that I knew were going to show up.
Yeah.
They were already showing up and doing my other trainings. And I individually messaged a lot of them first and said, do you want to be a part of this? Do you want to push for diamond? And, I think I had a couple that were like, I don't think I'm ready, you know?
And that's what I was going to ask, because, typically if you do something like, or if I do it in a group or, you get a lot of people that, I want to go for that. Yeah, let's do it. And then there's kind of that, but did you really mean it? And, I think it's important that you said you had 8 in your group, because, sometimes I think we can get too big and we want to help everybody.
Yes.
Yes. You see so much potential in so many people, right? Yeah. I love your 10 and play, and we have not done that.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds pretty simple.
Yeah.
Is there anything more to it than I've always worked with whiteboards, but you always have a constant list of 10 business people. So, if somebody says, well, I only have 2 right now. What's your process for working with them to get that 10 in play?
Well, with the whole daily 4s and this cold market scripts, I don't know if you guys have ever used scripts. I have not. Like, I was like the anti-use scripts. I'm just going to message everybody and, wear myself out basically, because once I get a hold of these scripts, I'm like, what was wrong with me? So they use those scripts, and I mean, they're cold market. So they go through, and that has really helped my new coaches. I mean, they have so much more confidence now, and hearing just those, oh yeah, send me the info. And I'm like, really? Here I am, like messaging like a mad woman and get nothing.
Well, and so we have some scripts. You're going to share yours with us too, right?
Yes.
So I think that's a great point, because I learned back when we rolled out challenge groups, I learned the Tommy Migrant way.
Yeah.
And it was very scripted. And I remember he said, this isn't going to feel natural, but don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. We perfected the wording. And I was like, I feel so weird. But I started doing it, just really copy paste and perfect it. And it worked.
Yeah.
And so I've continued to do, and I've actually kind of got away from that a little bit, trying to be more personal, but it worked. So it's a great reminder that if something works.
I know. And I'm like, oh my.
Trying to create a masterpiece with every single invite is just, you just don't, you can't do that. We have some people that want to ask questions, so unmute yourself. I know Jen has a question.
I do have a question. Thanks, Jamie. I love this call, and I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. How many kids do you have, by the way?
I have 3, 13, 9 next month, and a 3-year-old.
Okay, so yes, busy mom like me, and I work full-time as well. You said that after Summit coming back is when you made the call to Meg and decided to push for 15 stars. So did you start your group, like July?
Yeah.
July-ish, and then you hit 15 star in December.
Yes.
So that whole time you were running this push group?
Yes.
And I'm just curious what you did in that push group. Were you posting daily, or were you asking them to post accountability daily? Like how did you run it?
We did like a weekly Zoom. So we could, talk about, anything that they've run into. And then I did like a checklist. Like they had to put a copy of their Power 3, because we were doing Power 3 then.
Okay.
So they had to plug that in. They had to do a takeaway from their personal development from that day. Mm-hmm. I'm very big in The Power of I Am by Joel Osteen. Yay. So they had to do their affirmations every day. So they had to have like 5. And, they were cute and would do fun things, like they would write them on their mirror, they would have them right in front of them every day. So like I said, a big thing of doing that was really just building our confidence too, and just gaining that as we were driving towards this big goal together. So anything that I could share with them that was motivating or inspiring. So I would do it, like I would do that daily check-in, but then I would post like, a motivational picture, or I would find like those videos, there's a ton off of YouTube. I would find like a motivating video, or I'd find like a coach off of YouTube that had like a good call on something, maybe with recruiting or something, and share that. So I didn't really have like a plan. It was just kind of like whatever I felt like adding in that day, but they did do a daily check-in.
Okay. So with the daily check-in, did you just allow them to post it, or did you give comments back? Like say your numbers are not, how, what I'm saying? Like, did you?
Yeah. Like if I would see their Power 3 and I would see if they're struggling, and most of the time when they would post it, it'd be like, okay, I just really stunk today. Yeah. They were very honest about what they were struggling with. And then, that would be something I would mentor with them on, like what I could do to help them, with the fear of inviting, and, whatever they were struggling with, I would do more one-on-one than with them.
Okay. And last question, or one other question.
Sure.
I might have more, but speaking of diamond mindset, can you just speak a little bit about your routine? Like, I know you're now working this full time, but when you began, you were full time. Do you work on the business every day? How much hours do you put into it?
Well, I could work this business every day, every minute.
Yeah.
And when you love doing something, it's kind of hard to sometimes shut down. But yeah, I had to really make that transition from working in the pockets of time I had when I was a teacher. Obviously, I could not work my business during the day at all, teaching in the classroom. So for me, when I made that goal of I am not going back, I'm not going back to this classroom the next year, I made lots of sacrifices for sure. And sleep was one. Mm-hmm. So I always say now I can sleep whenever I want. So it was worth it to me to give up TV. And now when I made those changes, like I don't watch TV now. It just became such a habit that I just don't, do that now. So I would get really early. I would do a lot of my stuff, early before school. I would use my time over my lunch to work. So I'd be checking in with challengers, checking in with coaches, turning messages, doing those types of things that I could do in a half hour during my lunch. I had a baby that last year I was pushing. So I had hired a high school girl to come over 2 days a week just after school. So I had like an extra day, like when I come in the door, I could just go into my office and just sit and knock, an hour or 2 out. So then I would have my evening then for the kids, because most of the time I would work after everybody went to bed, and then I was up till who knows what time. Yeah. But those were things I did because I wanted things to happen. I wanted to be home with my kids. I was not wanting to be that mom who was stressed and tired, and mornings were horrible. And I wanted to be happy when I saw my own children after teaching 3rd grade all day. I wanted to see my own kids and be excited. So, I'm just really like, once you have that decision, not everybody wants to do this full time. And that's great. I have coaches who love their job and they just want to do this, when they can. But my coaches who tell me they want to do this full time, then I'm very straight with them. You've got to be willing to sacrifice things that aren't going to help you move forward. And sitting down and watching TV was not going to help me move forward in my business. So the transition then, now that I'm home, that first year was really hard because I was like, okay, I used to have like this pocket of time, you know, and then I had my half hour, then I had my 2 hours. Then I'm like, oh, I've got all day.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have
It was kind of brutal that first year. Then I just had to really get myself in a routine. So I think, you know, having the Miracle Morning really helps people with making kind of that morning routine for you. And I started saying, you know, I struggled with getting up in the morning to go to work, but I find myself, I do better if I get up at 5 a.m. every day still.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, I don't have to go up and go to a job, but I get up at 5 a.m. And I tell my coaches that if you look at the successful people in other areas, they all get up early. So I kind of pass that on to my team as well, that we have a 5 a.m.er club. And it's funny because I have like brand new coaches in there and they'll be like messaging in there, where are you, Jamie? And I'm like,
So what's your 5 a.m.er club? What is that?
I just have a group of the coaches who really want to be pushed and they want to make things happen. And so we have, it's just like everybody checks in there. I'm up, I'm working, I'm doing my power hour now. I'm doing my workout first, you know, then they'll do their little check-in of what they did that morning, you know, before they went to work. Some of them are home, they're stay-at-home moms, or they are homeschool moms. So they just know they've got to get that in.
Mm-hmm. And what time do you go to bed?
Oh, that's my struggle. I'm like, the brain shut down. That's hard for me. I always say I'm trying to go to bed by 10:30, 11. And I'll be like, I even have one that'll message me and she'll see me online. She'll like, go to bed.
That's good. I like that. That's really good. Well, let's see. I don't have any more questions in the chat, and I know we've been at 45 minutes, so I'm going to be considerate of your time, but this is really great. And I mean, I know that we have, both Jen and me, we have, our teams they have the potential to be 15-star elite teams, and I know I have a ton of faith in the coaches on our teams. Mm-hmm. We believe in them so much.
Yep.
And your very practical tips and steps for, you know, even how to help us as leaders kind of mentor and corral that talent has been very, very helpful. So I appreciate that. And you're gonna send us your Power of Fours or your Daily Fours and your scripts. And if there's anything that you need from us, we will share with you. We're all open books, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.